Hello, good evening, welcome, good evening, good afternoon, good night, good whatever time of day it is, wherever you're watching from. This is Captain Mike, and we are continuing the flight across the United States in the vintage Curtiss JN4, emulating the route of the 1911 cross-country flight of the VinFizz. And so today we are going to be crossing central Missouri, starting in Mexico, Missouri, and ending in Marshall. Not quite making it to Kansas City. Kansas City is the eventual goal. I don't think we're going to be doing that tonight. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. Let's get the world loaded in here. Alright, that's probably good. Alright, and Microsoft is finally, or Asobo Microsoft, whomever, has finally seen fit to allow you to start cold and dark, but without doing the pre-flight pins which didn't really add much, in my opinion. I thought it was cool at first, but it really doesn't add much. Okay, so plane, check fuel, good. Check compass, makes sense. Okay, yeah, sanity, check the compass. Okay, turn that off. All right. That's an annoying zoom level. Okay, let's go ahead and get the plane fired up here. So, fuel valve, ignition, choke, throttle, and throw propeller. Alright. So it looks like I went ahead for the southern part of the apron and find taxiway Alpha. Just enough juice to get the thing moving without accelerating too much here. Okay. Looks good. Now when the taxiway is actually taking you to the auto taxi, seems to be working correctly for once. Got a, I think that's a Diamond DA-40. It's a Beechcraft, what's the dual engine one called? Another Diamond. It's not the King Air. Whatever. Okay, here's taxiway Alpha. Alright, no problem so far, so I just need to find a crossway and get turned around here once I've got a decent amount of runway. I'm thinking Charlie. Can't tell if there's one here where it's... No. Okay. And we're gonna go to Crossway. We're gonna go to taxiway Charlie and enter the runway there. Alright, so following the profile of the historic flight, it is mid-afternoon on October 10th, 1911. I looked through my notes. Not much of value, not too much interesting happened on October 10th. Like, October 10th was one of the most successful, nominally successful days of the entire Vin Fizz voyage, so there really isn't anything to talk about. Made in excess of 200 miles, which is the kind of pace he would have needed to be doing to have crossed the U.S. in a month. So today's leg to Marshall is about 80 miles and change. So oh, that's something I didn't do. Settings. Flight interface. Okay, let's get rid of those. Okay, yeah. No cheating. Or no help with the navigation thing, except taxiways. So here's Charlie coming up. I'm gonna slow him a little bit in the attempt to bring the speed down. Yeah, that should be fine. Okay, don't go too fast here. The runway's a mile long, and I don't need a mile of runway to take off in this, so let's go ahead and it's ready. And punch it. Alright, we're airborne. So the very first thing to do is to bring it to the west. Need to slightly north of west heading to get to town. Power. Then to about there. Okay. Now I gotta find the railway, which is heading to the, again, slightly north of west. Not that much. Alright, Mexico, Missouri, which you can tell is not the real Mexico because everything isn't piss yellow. Cemetery. Golf course. Alright, and we found our train line, so that was easy. This one, I think I've got a train line to follow for the whole way there, so this should be pretty straightforward. Navigationally. Pitching a little high for my liking. There we go. That should do. Alright, and just have to... Okay, so we just have to follow this and sanity check the heading every so often. Which looks like it's going to be roughly 290 for the first half of this. And something else for the second half. Looks like another golf course? Maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure. Here we go again. There's got to be something I can filter to get rid of these, and I don't know. I'm too lazy to figure out what the exact correct thing is. Junkyard. Note for any humans watching my stream, I don't need you to tell me you're not watching my stream. Most reservoirs are not quite big enough to show up on the map. That's unfortunate. I always like something that helps indicate that I am where I think I am. At any rate, where I think I am right now is approaching Centralia. Alright, we got two rail lines here. They end up in the same place. The northern one seems to be the shorter of the two, and it doesn't look like Sturgeon is a... It doesn't look like Sturgeon was a station on the Chicago and Alton, so I'm going to follow the northern one. Alright. Hopefully it's... Okay. Hopefully this doesn't backfire, but I haven't... Maybe the auto mod will get rid of some of these bots now. I think the southern one is a different line. Because then it ends up... Looks like it ends up going this way. But also... Not that big a difference, really. not sure what that is, what this is supposed to be. I'm not gonna look it up while I'm not gonna look it up right now. Hands off the controls for a few seconds and look what happens. Alright. I'm gonna have to start looking up what to do for some of this stuff. The Midwest is just gonna it's just gonna be this, unfortunately, and that means I need something. We're gonna need to add something here. Here to San Antonio is going to be largely this. So, Kansas City and Dallas being exceptions. This would be Clark. The number's Clark. Wait, no, I think it's the wrong thing. Anyway, this would be Clark. Like I said, that other train line ends up going off in this direction, so not the direction I need to go. Something's going on here. People driving there know something I don't. Or not. Alright, I think this is this Billhart's farm port here. Looks like a grass runway. Of course, grass runways run the gamut in terms of looking like anything. But anyway, I'm gonna go on a limb here. Alright, that will presumably make this Higby. Puts us about halfway there. Yes, this is Yates. It's not. Yates is not big enough to show up on the chart proper, so. But this is the point where we start heading south a little bit. Stick with this line and we should be okay, but it looks like there isn't going to be settlement of any size for a while. I've marked... So anyone who hasn't been here for my previous explanation with this, basically what I did was I looked up which railroads or rivers or whatever the Dinfizz expedition was following, and marked every train station, so or tried to find as close as possible for this leg. It would be the Chicago and Alton Railroad, and I marked every station down, and I guess some of these places, I guess either for other reasons or because the railroads lost importance, some of these places just don't really exist anymore, or maybe they never did. we start to see the Missouri River off in the distance here. This is presumably Armstrong. I'm guessing this is Armstrong. We're actually... a little close to the end here. For those who aren't familiar with American geography, the Missouri River starts out way off in the Rockies, crosses much of the northern Midwest, and then meets up with the Mississippi River near St. Louis. When combined with the Missouri River combined with the Mississippi River is the longest river system in North America. Couple of important cities like St. Louis and Kansas City, a couple of other important ones are along the river. Alright, so here we're going to be crossing the Missouri River at Glasgow. Okay, so, well, okay. So Scottish correct pronunciation would be closer to Glasgow, but this being the Midwest, it's probably really horrifically butchered. And the highway bridge is painted, but the railroad bridge is not. Which has been happening a lot. Alright, I'm gonna say about 30, maybe 30 miles left. The atmospheric effects are very pretty in this game. Alright, so here we have Gilliam. Alright, that would make this Slater, which means we are getting close to touchdown. Not close enough that I should be able to see the field yet, but not necessarily anyway. Oh, hi, Element Future. Yeah, today's not an especially long one, and I'm most of the way through it at this point, but thanks for saying hi. Hope you're doing well. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I don't always get these up in the most timely fashion, but I try to do it within a couple days. I will say there isn't the most to see on this one, because we're deep in the Midwest now, and it's just this for hundreds of miles. in any direction. Yeah, I will probably do that. Probably whenever I get around to uploading this one, or whenever I get this one uploaded, I'll probably start doing a custom playlist for this series. Most of them are already in the Flight Sim Streams playlist, but yeah, I think I should probably do one specifically for this series. It's a little bit less, maybe a little bit less flat than the Netherlands. We're also, like, the ground is at about 800 feet, 7 to 800 feet, which is higher than most of the Netherlands, to my understanding. But yeah, other than that, it is pretty flat here. Yeah, the only places in the U.S. that are like, Death Valley is the only place I can think of off the top of my head that's that low in the U.S. There's probably other places too. There's other places near there in the West. I mean, obviously the coasts are more or less at sea level, but everything that's under it. Oh, isn't Oh, well, my future, do you happen to be into Formula One at all? Because the Dutch Grand Prix is this weekend, and I'm looking forward to watching that. Oh, cool. Yeah. I'm gonna go on a limb. Maybe stereotyping a bit, and go on a limb and say Verstappen fan. I'm a McLaren guy. Been ride or die for McLaren since when Lewis Hamilton was on the team, which has put me through some rough times. Which has caused some rough times in the past, but yeah, not the worst time to be a McLaren fan. Or, well, last year certainly wasn't. They didn't make it easy on several occasions, but, you know. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking of. Marginally better than the current Honda Alonso situation, I would say. I hope that works out for them. Yeah. Yeah, I don't necessarily blame Nui for this year's car, but, well, if it doesn't improve any, then, that could be different. Yeah, I hope it pays off. My understanding is that the Aston Martin corporate, like the actual car manufacturer, not the team, but the car manufacturer is in a lot of financial trouble right now. So, hope something works out. Having a halfway decent F1 season is something they could probably do with. I will probably be on the ground by then, but thanks for dropping in at least. It was nice talking to you, and hopefully, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. If you're gonna be gone, just to let you know, before you walk away, no stream this Thursday. Be back to my normal schedule next week. Anyway, thanks for dropping in. Okay, I think this is where I'm landing. So, good news. Yeah, that's gonna be it. See, it's got Vazzy, it's got Vazzy lights. Let's swing power back. Yeah, thanks. Well, I appreciate you stopping by when you do, and yeah, have a good evening, and yeah, best. Well, I will. Don't normally do this, but I will wish Max luck on your behalf this weekend. On the ground, and I'm happy with that landing. Okay, so we're heading south. I don't think I'm going to be able to turn there. Alright, we're gonna have to go all the way to Echo. Well, I'm gonna be taxiing for a while, I guess, if I hear your phone. Like I said, I don't have another leg planned for tonight, but, you know, get it to the appropriate spot. Faster than this. Come on. Come on, pip, pip. There we go. Okay. This is probably the right amount of power for taxiing. Oh. Express runway. Let's make sure that... Okay. Okay, I did plan around that. Alright. So here's Echo. I'll go ahead and turn around. And now I have to go all the way back half a mile. More than half a mile. Very slightly downhill, apparently. According to the chart here, it's very slightly downhill, but I don't know how much of a difference that makes. Alright, so apron's up on the right. I don't really need this chart anymore. Apron's ahead on the right. Should be pretty hard to miss. It is a good, it's very clacky, very clacky. I guess it's from the old pushrod valves. Running at a very low RPM. It's very clacky. I do like watching them move up and down, although I don't know. Let's see, we're at 5,500 RPM right now. 150 times. They should be moving at about 4.5 times a second, something like that. It looks like they were going a little bit slower than that. Oh, okay, that's cool. Just put the sign right in the middle of the taxiway. That's how that works. I would have been more or less oblivious if I had not checked the third person. Boy, I wonder what that is over there. Not sure what that is. And now the real trick is to get a couple meters forward without going too fast to. All right, nope. Stop. Shit. No brakes. No brakes. Okay, we missed the pole. Alright, this is where the airplane lives now. Cutting fuel. Cutting ignition. Okay. Voila. And I just want to go take a quick look. I thought this was the run button, but it's not. I'm going to have to look up what the run button is. Let's see what else is on the apron right now before I call it a night. It looks like maybe a... $150 maybe? Or Cessna 150 maybe? I'm trying to figure out what this is. AS Beach. It doesn't look like a... Doesn't look like a Baron to me. Like, so... Normal, yeah. Whatever this is older than a Baron, or an older Baron. It's older than the one that you can fly in the game. I don't know. Anyway, scenic. Where even am I? Marshall, Missouri. All right. Next, so as I mentioned a little earlier, I have a work thing on Thursday, so this is the only stream this week. I will be back to normal Tuesday and Thursday evenings Eastern time, or U.S. East, next week. Next flight's a good one. Next leg, which would be next Tuesday, is going to Kansas City. That should be a good one. Get to blow some raspberries at the Chiefs. Yeah. All right, so like I said, be back Thursday at not Thursday. Be back Tuesday, 7 Eastern. And yeah, until then, thanks for watching. Fly safe and fly in clear skies. Thank you so much for watching. Good night.